All right, job number 1 is to determine what two sides we're dealing with in our right triangle. So we'll just label those two to start with. We always label the sides according to the angle, and you can see this 6 meters is the furthest away from the angle, and it's actually not the hypotenuse, so that one has to be the opposite. Now the x in this case could actually be the hypotenuse or the adjacent. We know it's not the hypotenuse because it's not the longest side and it's not the furthest away from the right angle, so we're going to label this one the adjacent. Now I'm just going to write SOHCAHTOA up the top here. Now, from the 3 trigonometric ratios we've got, so there's 1, 2, 3 ratios we're looking at the one that actually has both the opposite, that is the opposite side, this one here, and the adjacent side. Now the only one that contains both the opposite and the adjacent is our TOA. So I'm just going to write down that ratio just so we're aware of what it is. Tan of the angle theta is equal to the opposite side over the adjacent. Now, I want to make sure I've got that written down so when I input or substitute the values in, I substitute them in the correct order. So therefore we've got tan of 27 degrees. That is our angle. We have our opposite side, which in this case is 6, and in our adjacent is x. Now to determine what the value of x is, I teach the process of either it's a multiplication or a swap. Now we know it's a swap because the unknown or the variable is in the denominator of the fraction. So I'm going to swap tan of 27 and x, and I end up with 6 over tan of 27 degrees. Now I just input that into my calculator. I'm going to go to the nearest, or to 2 decimal places in this case. Putting this into my calculator, I get 11.7, and to 2 decimal places, 78. Now there was a unit of measurement there. I'm going to put 2 dp here, and I'm also going to make sure that I put, or actually I should put it in the other order. 11.78 meters, and I'll put 2 dp here. Now having a look at my diagram, does that make sense? It looks like it makes reasonable sense to what my diagram gives me.